Welcome to the Joy School Podcast. Real talk about what it takes to create your happiest, healthiest, and most dynamic life. And now, here's your host, transformational life coach, happiness strategist, and best-selling author, Kristi Ling Spencer.
Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the show. I'm so glad you're here with me again, or if it's your first time, welcome. And I am just enjoying the fall season so much. It is my absolute favorite, and I have been talking about this quite a bit lately, but I also wanted to give a shout out to our friends around the world who, for them, it is springtime right now. So I know we have quite a few listeners in Australia and different areas where it's actually spring right now. It's the opposite of where I am. So I just want to give you all a shout out as well. And also just mention how much it really inspires my heart that we have so many people from all around the world that tune into this show. So thank you so much for that beautiful collective energy and for being here. All right. So in today's episode, I think this is such an important topic because all of us, I believe, struggle with this at one time or another. And we're going to talk about 3 tips for really knowing your value. And I love this topic so much because I know for me, self-esteem, knowing my own worth, knowing my own value, learning how to show other people how to treat me has been a struggle for a long time up until this last couple of years when I've really done some work in this area. And so I've got some tips to share with you today. But if that resonates with you, I really invite you to go deeper into this work because your self-worth, your self-image, knowing your value and knowing how to set boundaries and show people how you need to be loved and how you need to be treated is so important. And there are a lot of skills involved in it, but doing work in that area can really lift up your life, lift up your entire world. I know it has for me. I can remember a time in my life when I was such a people pleaser and also when I allowed people to devalue me. And I look back at some of the incidents now and I just want to hug that person that I used to be and say, you are worth so much more than that, right? Can you relate? You might have had moments in your life where you look back and feel that same way. And I actually had 2 inspirations recently that kind of inspired the topic for today's show. One of them was I went to Brendon Burchard's coaching summit down in Austin for 3 days. And it was such a great event. I got to connect. So this event is for coaches to come together and really talk about how to better serve people and what we can do to really step up our industry and offer more value to the world. And I really connected with some amazing people. It was such a great event. And one of the people that I met there, because I had the pleasure of meeting so many coaches from all over who do so many unique types of coaching. And I believe in coaching so much. I think everybody needs a coach. And I also believe that the best coaches have coaches themselves, right? I know I've got a couple that I follow and work with that bring a lot of value to my life. And coaching has changed my life so much, but I love that there's these little niches. So one of the people that I met, Coach Aaron with Respark Coaching, his website is resparkcoaching.com. He actually works with people on their value on all areas of their professional life. But one of his special niches, which is so amazing, when he told me this, I was like, oh my gosh, the world needs you. Is he used to work in the corporate world in the HR departments where they negotiate salaries with executives. Well, he no longer works in that world, but he took that experience. Now he's a certified coach and he works with women on negotiating higher salaries in executive level position and in new jobs in executive level positions. How amazing is that? When he told me that, I was like, oh my gosh, I never thought about that before, but that is so needed in the world because I have been there when I used to work in corporate, and maybe you all have been there too when you're going out for a new job, right? When it comes time to negotiate your salary, it can feel a little uncomfortable and a little awkward. And sometimes it's hard to see yourself in the picture when you're the one in the frame, right? to really know the value that you're bringing to that company and that new job. And so a coach in that area, I just think is such a beautiful thing. So if that's something that you're like, oh, I need that, or I know somebody that needs that, you can find Coach Erin at resparkcoaching.com. But I met with so many amazing coaches. I met one guy, a lovely guy who works with musicians and coaches them on their branding and their self-esteem and getting their careers going. What a cool niche also. So really a fun event, but the whole thing really got me thinking about just knowing our worth and what we have to offer the world. And I was like, that needs to be a podcast episode. Now, the other inspiration for today's episode, and then I will get into the 3 tips for today, but the other inspiration was, if you have not seen A Million Miles Away yet, this is a movie on Amazon Prime, and it is the story of Jose Hernandez, whose beautiful family were migrant farm workers in California. And Jose was a bright young boy who grew up working the fields with his family, but he had a vision of being an astronaut in his future. That was his dream. And he grew up and he found his way to go to college and become an engineer. And he applied to NASA 13 times over several years before he was finally accepted. And this movie, A Million Miles Away, tells his story, and it is so beautifully acted and beautifully done and inspiring. And for anybody that just needs a little story of not giving up on yourself, in believing in your dream, and in putting the work in to better yourself, to give that dream a better chance, right? Because one of the things Jose did was each time he was rejected, he took a step back and he said, how can I become better so that I increase my chance next time? What can I do to add value to my qualifications? So he got his scuba certificate. He got his pilot's license. He did all of these things, which you'll follow along with in the film, to better qualify himself. And the most important thing was he never gave up. He knew his worth. He knew his value. He knew what he had to offer, and he kept going after it. And they took notice. So A Million Miles Away on Amazon. Highly recommend that movie. It was so fun. And a lot of people don't know this about me, but my husband actually works for NASA, and he watched it with me and completely loved it. So it's also approved by someone who works at NASA. He was even pointing out some of the accuracies in the movie, which was really fun. So definitely recommend that one, especially as a pairing with this episode. So let's get into today's topic. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves what we are actually worth in this world, which is so much. Each of us has unique gifts to offer. And for me, a part of this work was also self-forgiveness. I had to know that I'm only human and I'm perfectly imperfect. And some of the things that can really affect our self-worth and knowing our value are past mistakes. When the truth is, a small shift at looking at our past mistakes can be a total game changer. And that shift is actually looking at those mistakes as part of what made us as valuable as we are now. Because mistakes, as painful as they can be, are tremendous learning opportunities. They're tremendous opportunities to grow and to be able to share our experience with others so that we can prevent other people from making the same mistakes, right? So mistakes actually make us more valuable. And so working on self-forgiveness and knowing that those mistakes helped us heal and grow and become the person we are today can really fill our heart and help us strengthen our self-worth and our knowing our value, right? So here are 3 things, 3 areas that you can work on here in addition to self-forgiveness that are really things to think about. And they're specific areas that I worked on when I really took the time to focus there and to kind of do some thought work and mindset work around these 3 things. It really was a change for the landscape of standing up for my value, of negotiating when I need to negotiate, of knowing how valuable things are to me in my world, and then living my life accordingly and setting intentions with that, right? Because setting intentions that are in alignment with the life we want to create, which includes knowing our value and what we have to offer, is so important. So with that, number 1 on the list of areas to work on here is really knowing the extreme value of your time. So for me, and the people closest to me know this, one of my biggest pet peeves is having my time wasted. And part of the reason for that, and my people close to me know how irritable this will make me. And rightfully so, though, because this was an area where I did a lot of work, and I really came to realize how extremely valuable our time is. Time is our most precious asset. It is more valuable than money because you can always earn more money, right? But you can't earn more time. Once your time is gone, once those minutes are spent, they are history. Think about that. So think about how valuable the gift of your time is. Close your eyes and just really let this fill your heart for a minute. Because when you start to highly value your time, you will not tolerate people or things or situations that waste it. And this is really a fundamental part of valuing yourself and your life, and also knowing the value that you have to offer the world, knowing your worth, because when you value your time becomes more free because you free up a lot of your time by getting rid of things that waste it. And then you have more time to give back and to actually glow and shine because you already shine. You already glow. I always love to say that when people are feeling down or like they've lost their light, I'm like, you already shine. Sometimes it's just about uncovering the things that are dimming your light, right? And weeding the things out that are time wasters and time suckers from our world really helps to uncover our light and helps make room for us to bring more value and contribute to the world and to build the life we're looking to create. So number one, really zero in on the value of your time and do some mindset work and some action taking around how can you free up more of it? How can you filter things out of your life that are time wasters? And for me, one of the big ones was learning how to head off time wasters at the pass. So I can see things coming now from a mile away that are going to waste my time or that are a definite no. And no's are very important. When you feel something in your gut that it's a no, just say no, right? Know that, you know what, this is not something I want to spend my time on, and find a graceful way to say no. That's a great way to free up your time. But being able to spot time wasters before they actually happen is a great skill to work on here. All right. So with that, let's go to number two. So number two is giving yourself credit, great credit for all of your valuable experience that you've had in your life and all of the experiences, both personal and professional, that have shaped you into the incredibly valuable, knowledgeable person that you are today. So one of the things I realized when I was doing this work is that we don't often stop enough to give ourselves credit for things we've been through in our life, whether they're losses, whether they're different jobs that we've done, whether they're skills we learned, whether it's an artistic talent that we have, whatever it is that adds to our beautiful treasure box of experience that makes us uniquely valuable and unique in the way that we offer ourselves to the world and the things that we have to serve others, right? And really taking a minute to think about this. And I suggest taking your journal or a piece of paper and just bullet point a list of experiences in your life, even tough ones, even hard ones, right? Personal ones, growth experiences, jobs you've had, places you've traveled, anything you have that is added to your toolbox and the treasure chest that makes you what you are, because all of it has added to the value that you have to offer the world, right? So when you take stock of how important your time is and how valuable that is, and then you move into knowing your experience and how much value that has added to you and to your life and to what you have to offer, wow, it's a totally different perspective. And when you find yourself in the position of saying yes to things, saying no to things, evaluating opportunities, whether it's a personal opportunity or even a date or a new job, You can look at your value, your time, your experience, right? And really know to stand up for what it is that your heart feels called to ask for. This works, my friends. So use your journal and definitely write about your time too. What are some of the time suckers in your life that you can reduce? What are some of the obligations maybe you said yes to a while back that you've outgrown now that you can gracefully bow out of? Those are ways to save time. And at the same time, bullet point all of the experiences in your life that have added up to the amazing person that you are today. And then take some time to give yourself credit for that. It really feels good, but it also definitely boosts your self-worth and knowing your value. All right. So with that, let's get into number 3. And that is really taking some time to think about and really soak in your uniqueness. So what do I mean by this? Well, part of it is your unique experiences, like we were just talking about, that have all added up to make you who you are today. But part of it also is knowing that even if you feel like there's a zillion other people out there in the world that are trying to do the same work that you're doing or who are already successful at the same things you want to do, and you're tempted to think to yourself, well, what more do I have to offer? Or there's already a ton of books written on that topic, or there's already a million coaches out there, or a million financial advisors, or, whatever it is you feel called to offer the world, right? And you think to yourself, well, what do I have to offer that they're not already offering? And the truth is, you have so much to offer. And it doesn't matter if there's a zillion other people doing the same thing out there that you feel called to do, because you know what? You are the only one of you in the whole universe. And your perspective on any given topic is valuable and unique. No one else out there, even people covering the same subjects or doing the same jobs or whatever it is that your heart is called to, are going to say something the exact same way you will say it. Now, I'm going to share a little something about my book here, and I've talked about this on the show before. When I was writing the proposal for my book, Operation Happiness, I was told by many people in the publishing world that, oh, you probably won't get a deal on that because that topic is too broad. And, oh, there's already so many books out there on happiness. What makes yours stand out? Well, I was discouraged by so many people, but you know what? I knew in my heart that I had something unique and different to say. And when I started sharing with people what my unique angle was on approaching happiness, I started to get a completely different response. People were like, oh, wow, I have never thought of it that way. And wow, you totally need to write that book because I've never heard it said that way before. And that really built me up. And it fueled that fire I had inside me to know that what I had to share was important, and it didn't matter that there were other books on the topic, right? So I pushed ahead and I found a publisher who saw my unique voice, my unique take on the topic, which primarily was that happiness is not something you find, and it's not simply a choice. It's actually something that you do. It's a skill that you can learn and become good at, just like playing a musical instrument. That is such a different and powerful look at approaching happiness, and it has changed thousands of lives now. That book has sold so many copies. In fact, the hardcover is sold out. And my heart is so touched by it. But you know what? It never would have happened if I would have listened to the naysayers who told me there was already so much of that out in the world. And so knowing your uniqueness, knowing that there's nobody out there who has to offer what you uniquely have to offer. Now, the other thing to know here is that your voice, the way you speak, your mannerisms, your energy, your vibes, right, are unique to you. And somebody that has maybe heard the same thing 100 other times might hear it for the first time when they hear it from you. How powerful is that? And so know this deep in your heart, that your unique take, your unique energy and vibe, your unique experience all adds to your value. You are such a beautiful, valuable human being who shines already. And so doing some of this work can really help you really get grounded in knowing your worth, knowing your value, and you will set so many new boundaries in your life when you start to do work around this area. So if you want to go deeper into some of this, I really encourage you to jump over to jointhejoyschool.com and check out my brand new program that I'm getting ready to launch as we speak. Can I just tell you, I'm so excited about this because inside we are diving into all of these topics that we talked about today and so many other powerful, life-changing topics with practical tools and frameworks and things that are backed by scientific studies, which anybody who knows me well knows that I geek out on scientific studies about things that can really help us improve our lives and our well-being and our mindsets. And I tie them into frameworks and doable practices that we can incorporate into our lives to be happier and healthier and more successful in so many areas. And this is the work we're diving into in the Joy School. And I could not be more excited about it. Plus, can I just share with you, when you order something in the mail and it comes and it is so much better than you expected, and that's the best feeling ever. So I recently received, people who join the Joy School when the doors open are going to get a swag bag in the snail mail. And I've just been receiving in the mail some of the items that are going to go in that swag bag. And one of them is a daily edit notepad to set up your goals and your mindset journaling and your tasks for the day in just the right way to help you create more amazing days. And this is a printable within the school, but I also ordered hard printed pads that people who join are going to get in the mail along with a lot of other goodies. And these turned out so beautifully. I just had to share my excitement with you. They're amazing. I'm already filling mine out and loving it. So go over to jointhejoyschool.com. You can see all the good stuff over there, all the goodness. And if the doors aren't open quite yet, when you jump over there, there's a ton of information for you there anyway. And you can jump on the VIP wait list and you'll get a free gift just for that. So check it out. And with that, I am ready to jump right into our section of the podcast where we talk about a new habit that can help you level up your life in a very simple way. And I like to call this Joy School Habits. So today we're going to talk just a bit about mirror work. So some of you may have heard of mirror work before, but this is so important and so powerful that if you don't practice it, I want to encourage you to incorporate this into your day. It only takes a minute and it is so simple, but let me tell you, there are actual studies behind this now that show how powerful it is. And it's really about connecting with yourself because we all look at ourselves in the mirror each day and we even look ourselves in the eyes, right? When we're brushing our hair or doing our makeup or whatever it is. But we rarely, if ever, actually really look at ourselves, really look deeply into our eyes to connect with the soul that is looking back at us. And that's really what this is all about. I actually learned this from one of my mentors years ago, Louise Hay, who I had the pleasure of meeting in person and working with in person more than once. And she always talked about mirror work and really drove it home within me how powerful it is. Just take a minute each day to look at yourself in the mirror with intention. Look into your own eyes and speak something that supports you and lifts you up. Say words that you need to hear, right? Those words that you'd like to hear from someone else. We can't make someone else say to us the words we want to hear, so say them to yourself. Now, it's going to feel a little weird at first, a little awkward, a little funky, but when you get comfortable with it, mirror work is extremely powerful. And you can say affirmations. You can just look in the mirror and go, hey, beautiful, how are you today? You're going to make it a great day today. Whatever speaks to you. One of the most powerful things for me is just looking into my own eyes and saying, I love you. I love you. And it really, like I said, can feel awkward at first, but then all of a sudden you'll feel a shift in your soul and it feels amazing. You're connecting with yourself on the deepest level. Now, Mel Robbins, whose work I enjoy, she's a coach. If you don't follow her already, you can find her on all the socials. And she has a book out called The High Five Habit. And it really is about the simple act of high-fiving yourself in the mirror each day. And there are studies behind that too. It's a simple practice, and it's not only amazing for your mindset and getting your positive energy going, but all of this type of mirror work, whether you're high-fiving yourself or looking deep into your eyes and saying affirmations or encouraging words, is great for your emotional health and connecting with yourself on a deep soul level. And yes, also in alignment with today's podcast topic, and that is remembering your worth, right? And so I recommend doing this in the morning, but it's great to do in the evenings before bed too, and maybe give yourself some encouraging words about the day you had, or any time during the day you need a little bit of a lift. All right. So if you enjoyed this episode, I would be so grateful if you would leave a review over on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite platform. This truly counts, my friends. It really supports the show, and it's how you can help the show reach more people who might enjoy it. And I do read them all. I love reading your words. So thank you so much to everybody who's left recent reviews. And be sure to connect with me over on Facebook and Instagram. And I invite you to visit my website at KristiLingSpencer.com, where you can get free access to my video masterclass, 11 Habits of the Happiest People. And you can find some other supportive tools and resources I've got for you there as well. I'm sending you so much love, and until next time, remember, you've got what it takes to create more amazing days, and more amazing days add up to a pretty amazing life. Have a fantastic week, my beautiful friends, and I will see you soon. Cheers.